Let's do that. Hang on, let's get in video. There's.
I was just responding to her, that's you. That's great.
This is September 23rd, we're down here.
Right, we're down there. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm. Doesn't matter.
Cheryl, are you guys ready?
Kristen is online.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okie dokie. We are going to reopen for the Lamppa appeal on October 21st at 5 p.m. The inspection committee like to deliver their report. Kristen is not here. Did you guys get a copy of that as well?
I'm here, I'm just on Zoom.
Right, I just didn't know if you were present yet. So I'm just gonna read the inspection report. We visited parcel 11-038-000 on October 1st at 4 p.m., 276 Bradley Hill Road. The subject property is a two-story vinyl clad home built in approximately 2020 on 38.9 acres of land. The house consists of 7 rooms, including 4 bedrooms, 2 full baths, 1 3/4 bath, 1 half bath, and an attached 2-car garage. There are wood floors throughout the finished portion of the house. There is unfinished loft space above the garage. The basement is a mix of unfinished and partially finished space. There's 1 outbuilding measuring 12 by 12. There are both solar power and mini splits, and the view is spectacular. Any more questions from the BCA for the people in front of us? Anyone? Emily?
I can't remember, is there a house type on this? Like colonial, contemporary?
It is currently contemporary. It's currently colonial, sir.
Okay.
Anyone else? Final comments from you guys? Do you have anything to add?
About a page and a half, could I just read through that?
You sure can.
Want to say anything first?
Yeah, I'm happy to. I mean, I think that the reason that John and I are here is because of just underlying concern that there's been maybe some goal seeking with respect to the total property value, which I know is kind of a weighted statement. When we did our triangulation of our property and dwelling valuation, we were finding market comps and other supporting data that put it below what the current value is. And John can walk through some of that in detail. And we've had some interactions at this point, with the listers, and we haven't yet, felt like we've come to alignment on where the listers are valuing the property versus, what we're seeing again in the market and in our analysis. So John, if you want to kind of walk through some of those points.
Sure. Just summarizing the former hearing that we were at, the listers offered 2 reasons for excluding our neighbor's property, which was primary property wanting to use the top. The 2 reasons were classified as colonial, they're classified as contemporary. We then touched on the square footage, saying we are a larger house by 600 square feet. We disagree with those statements. Sales data does not show that colonials sell at a higher rate than contemporaries. We also have some papers we want to submit that look at what colonial and contemporary are. We actually believe our house does not fit that on the form. We'll provide that information. Additionally, the comps that were provided by the listers, interestingly, had both colonials and contemporaries. but supposedly we can't choose a contemporary to compare ourselves against, so that was a disconnect. The square footage, there was a huge range of square footage finished on the lister's comp list that ranged more than 1,000 square feet in each direction from our house. So we still believe that our neighbors built essentially the same year, same builder, very similar materials, same exact setting, same views. It's a very good comparison, for our house. So that summarizes that portion. There were a few inaccuracies on the property record card, but I think we saw those. One bath is a little smaller. It's a 3/4 instead of a full, which is listed here. The garage attic, we measured at 527 square feet, should have been 964, but I'll leave that to the board to look at. Additionally, we were looking at the grade factor of the house, which is at 1.95. We noticed there are a bunch of other modern farmhouses like ours that were built in the same years, 2020 and 2022. Look like very similar materials, much lower grade factor, and I can hand this in for everyone to look at as well. So we looked at that. So essentially, there's kind of three different ways we looked at getting to the value of our total property. The first was using our neighbors of the comp, which brings us to a total value of 1.6, and that's laid out in the previous appeals. If we use the grade factor that we're recommending, as well as if we are switched to a contemporary house, again, it comes out to 1.6. Or if we choose the two colonial houses in the lister's comp, if we can't use contemporaries, and we just take those two colonials and average their value, it actually brings us to 1.47, lower than what we're asking. That is all summarized in this documentation here. I also went through, the board walked through the house, but I also took pictures and everything to work on material quality. So that can all be looked at with respect to that difference.
Okay. Thanks very much. Carol, did you guys have more to add?
Well, we were just listening, so, looking at what we wrote as to why the, 228 was not a comp. It was more than just being a contemporary versus, because colonial, which is in our earlier memo, don't have to really reread it, but a 1.5 story versus a 2-story. The square footage is different by, what was it? We've got, 3336 in their home. This neighbor has 2766. They're on a slab, but no basement. It's an asphalt roof covering versus standing seam. So those will matter during an assessment and putting it into the system, based on the cost factors. Those will add value. And the acreage, next to,
almost 39.
yeah, 10 acres, which would add, so their total acres would be an additional value. So you have 38.9 acres versus 10 acres. For reasons where you've got to think about the comps, the rest of the comps provided were from KRT. We put them forth as the comps that we would use, or they would use to provide a basis. And I think that hearing we just said, just eliminate the contemporaries if you wanted to do that and just work with the colonials. So that was that overall, with the value of $2,194,200 after the grievance with the listers. They're at a 61.5% increase, which overall the town was at 59% increase. So it comes really close to that 59% overall average increase.
Thank you very much. Okay. We are going to close this particular hearing. We'll go into the deliberations later this evening after hearing a few more, and you'll get a decision from us within 15 days. Yeah.
Like this material.
I can take that, thank you.
Oh, you need some,
Just me.
it's like we're down one.
There's 2 copies of it.
Thank you very much.
We'll do all four.
Yeah.
And then we'll.
Cheryl, would you guys like the spare copy of what the Lamppa takes just gave us? That's
Yes.
towards Pam, thank you. We're still recording the sound of ours.
Yeah.
Is McTaggart scheduled at 5:15?
Yes, but they're not required to come, and I don't know if they will. Is this what they just submitted?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what they just provided us, so yeah, everybody going to see it.
You're so early.
Wait, are these the meetings? But that, are there more meetings?
No, I can make copies if you want, or we can just pass it around in between.
Okay.
Sorry,
No, I just thought of something.
Yeah.
Did you make a motion to accept the inspection report?
no, I did not.
Okay.
We could go ahead and do that, come
I think you should.
Would anybody like to make a motion to accept
I
the
make a
site inspection
motion.
report?
Does
And
that-
Dave seconds it. Motion to approve.
Yes, but you have to do roll call because Kristen is online.
Kristen, did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Could you?
And yes,
say-
yay.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
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 Kimo, yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Cheryl.
You're welcome.
Not paying attention to my own notes.
Okay. Kristen, are you able to come into my office at some point in the not too distant future to sign off on the inspection reports?
Yeah, are you there tomorrow? I could come by.
8:30 to 4:30.
Yeah, I'll come by.
Awesome, thank you.
No
I'm usually
problem.
out
Thank
for
you
lunch
for being
between 1 and
flexible.
2. And then we've got you and.
Oh, these are the real ones.
Yeah, he's the real ones.
This is, it's not.
Even trying to get my hands
Should I
right.
pass it to Kimo?
Yes. No, did you sign that one?
Which is. You wanna call it?
No, because it'd be starting at that, if it was in, and then it's not as Rassias, so.
Next one is McTaggart, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, but they're not here.
They don't need to be here.
I know that. Oh, we can still do it, I'm
Weekend
sorry.
starts.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
That's fine.
We are gonna reopen the McTaggart hearing at 5:16 on the 21st of October. It is, hold on just one moment, parcel ID 16-1012.100. The inspection committee was myself, Kristen, and Kimo Briggs. We were accompanied by James McTaggart. We visited 71 Upper Loveland Road on Wednesday, October 2nd at 3:30. The subject property is a one-story vinyl clad cape built in approximately 1991 on 0.6 acres of land. The house consists of 5 rooms, including 3 bedrooms, 1 full bath and 1 3/4 bath. There's a mix of vinyl and carpet flooring. The basement is unfinished. There's a wooden deck and there are no outbuildings. The lot is steep, both up behind and below the house. The house is next to the interstate.
Did we have Rassias listed
At
at 5:15?
Sorry, yes. Oh, because we had to switch them because we, yeah, okay.
We did 5 and then 5:30.
Yeah,
Does everybody-
sorry.
Did
No,
they
no,
know
it's all
that?
good. It's all good.
They-
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the original
Good to know that,
first one was
yeah.
5:30 and then we'll switch to the next one.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not coming, obviously.
And
And which
well,
is,
that's what I'm
and
saying.
that's
if
fine. She wasn't at the first one.
But we need to give McTaggart until
Right, we
5:30.
can't-
Yes, yes,
Okay,
but we could,
understood.
we could open Rassias,
If you know she's not coming.
I mean, I guess we'll do both on the 5:30.
Well, it's 5:15, so it seems like we could start Rassias, but not McTaggart.
we're gonna start Rassias.
Okay.
Just kidding. So,
Beginning anew with the Rassias hearing at 5:18 on 10/21. Jed, would you like to present the inspection report, please?
Yes. This is for 81 Cliff Street, parcel ID 16-032-100. The inspection committee was myself, David Krimmel, Suzanne Leiter, our policeman, Louis Hanson,
Trennan.
Drummond. The inspection committee was accompanied by Veronica Rassias, owner. There were no listers present. We visited 81 Cliff Street on Wednesday, October 1st at 4 p.m. The subject property contains a 2-story contemporary style house built about 2021 on 0.59 acres of land. It consists of a primarily wood exterior with 5 total rooms, 4 bedrooms, 1 full bath, and 1 3/4 bath.
The first floor has laminate flooring, consists of an open living room / kitchen, 1 bedroom and 1 full bathroom. There's an electric pellet stove in the living room. The second floor has 3 bedrooms and 1 3/4 bath. The stairs and the flooring on the second floor are polyurethane coated pressboard. Property has no basement and no garage. The land surrounding the house slopes towards the road and rises steeply and ledges just behind the septic mound.
Questions from the BCA for the listers? There are,
Asking for.
no, seeing if we had questions for you because they are not
Oh,
here.
I'm sorry, okay,
Busy
reading.
and would you like to add any final comments?
Yeah, we would.
Alrighty then.
So our final comments are that through the process of the informal hearings, the grievance with the listers, there has been an 18.8% decrease in the assessed value of this property. It now sits at a 23.9% increase overall against the 59% overall, reappraisal average. So just, wanted to, to point out that there's, been a fairly significant decrease already. And that some of the comps that were used are much older than the property, the house on this parcel. Is. And that is pretty much our comment.
Okay. Motion to approve the site inspection. Second, Suzanne and Dave. Kristen, would you like to approve the site inspection?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Site inspection approved. We are closing the second half of the Rassias hearing. We will go into deliberations at the end of today's hearings, favor a final decision in 15 days. Okay. Now we give McTaggart sense of backward. Okay. Let's see, we are reopening the McTaggart hearing at 5:30 on October 21st. This is for 71 Upper Loveland Road, parcel ID 16-012.100. The committee consisted of myself, Kristen McLeay, and Kimo Briggs. The inspection committee visited 71 Upper Loveland Road on Wednesday, October 2nd at 3:30. The subject property is a 1-story vinyl clad cape built in approximately 1991 on 0.6 acres of land. The house consists of 5 rooms, including 3 bedrooms, 1 full bath, and 1 3/4 bath. There is a mix of vinyl and carpeted flooring. The basement is unfinished. There's a wooden deck and there are no outbuildings. The lot is steep, both up behind and below the house. The house is next to the interstate. Questions from the BCA or the listers? No. Do the listers have anything to add?
Yes,
Okay,
first of all, with regard to the inspection report,
yes.
it's not a cave, it's a ranch. Apparently the cape needs to be a couple stories inside, not 1-story cape. And it's 1.06 acres of land, not 0.6.
Yep.
Upon pulling the data collection card, which Mr. McTaggart did sign, there is not any acknowledgement of an unfinished basement anywhere on the collection card. There's a lot of information.
It talks about a basement, but it doesn't say what percentage is finished or unfinished.
It doesn't have any reference to anything being unfinished anywhere on the card. The reference in the notes goes back to the 2016 reappraisal where it says basement unfinished at that time, but that was 9 years ago. So I just would like to point that out.
But if the inspection committee said it's something you can still be finished. is that
Right.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm having that reading. And that, there is topography already listed on the card and a location adjustment has been applied as well. In terms of the overall increase for this one, it's 62.5% after the 9 years compared to the town average of 59%.
Okay. So with the correction that there are 1.06 acres and that it is currently classified as a ranch, would anybody like to make a motion to approve those with the modifications that I just mentioned?
Me. So moved. Second.
Chemo seconds. Kristen, would you like to approve the inspection
Yes.
report?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
All right, this hearing is closed. We will then deliberate and deliver a decision within 15 days. Okay. Would you like to go ahead and start yours early? Come on down.
There should be a set of site inspection reports in front of you. Yours is on the bottom.
Done. Oh, is that that?
Yeah.
Early, you guys ready?
Pardon?
You mind if we start early with this, guys?
Oh,
Okay. We are reopening the Williams hearing at 5:34 on 10/21 on parcel ID 09-035-300. The inspection committee consisted of Jed Baker, Dave Krimmel, Suzanne Leiter, and Lily Tryman. Would you like to present the inspection report?
Sure. Wait.
What? Oh, sorry.
Do the thing.
Yeah,
Does anybody need to recuse themselves?
yes, I've been asked to and agreed to do so.
Thank you, Emily.
Aye.
Okay. You wanna read that
The
in?
inspection committee visited 1415 Beaver Meadow Road on Wednesday, October 1st at 5 p.m. The subject property contains a two-story colonial-style house built about 1993 on 6.3 acres of land. It consists of a primarily clapboard exterior with 7 total rooms, 3 bedrooms, 1 full bath, 1 3/4 bath, and 1 half bath. There are hardwood floors throughout and a tile entryway. The first floor consists of an open kitchen dining room, 1 sitting room, 1 living room, and 1 half bath. There are 2 fireplaces, 1 ornamental according to homeowners, in the kitchen and living room. The second floor has 3 bedrooms, a laundry room, 1 full bath, and 1 3/4 bath. There's a full basement and attached garage, both with concrete flooring. The attached garage has stairway access to the full basement. In addition to the main house, there's a 6x8 shed and a 6x12 shed. The land surrounding the house is sloped towards Beaver Meadow Road. The driveway is aging asphalt and fairly steep.
Okay, thank you, Suzanne. Do you have anything you would like to add?
Just with that, we did have, a 10 fireplace that we carried around over all the years. Basically a glorified mantle that I think used to have some very, ugly orange lights that went with it. With this place, we ended up sort of building it in off of the kitchen area on the back of the fireplace. It It doesn't work. It has painted, piece of wood that sort of serves as faux slate in front of it. So that is strictly ornamental. Beyond that, I know that in the, throughout the process of times, though it hasn't come up in the hearing, that, the presumption is accuracy by the listers unless we present evidence otherwise. We feel that that has, more than been met if for no other reason than the fact that the listers themselves filed their list under protest and with reservations. Beyond that, the listers have objected to all of our comps as saying they can't be sure whether or not they're accurate comps because they haven't been in them. We have given them, in our initial comps, I think there were 7 or 8, none of which the listers have been in, and they are saying they can't trust the accuracy of their own figures and numbers that have been given to them and created by KRT because they haven't been in them. In their place, we've gotten, I think it's 5 comps, from KRT for our house. On paper, they may all look similar in terms of age, colonial and the like, but none of them have a sales history that we can compare our house to. Additionally, I think 5 of the houses KRT didn't go into. So if we're to accept the logic that we can't trust our comps that my wife and I have all been in over the years and have a sales history, we certainly can trust those. But even if we do trust the comps being put forward by KRT and the listers as being accurate, if you look at the last appraisal, every single one of those was appraised significantly higher than our house. The least or the closest in terms of the prior appraisal is the Chapel Hill listing, which was only 9% higher. But again, there's no sales history there. And the lister's card notes a custom kitchen, which certainly ours with its particle board, everything doesn't qualify. The next comp that they provide is on 262 Hawk Pine. That was 18.87 higher in the last assessments, which with the amount of money that we would be talking about for a comparable adjustment now would be 120,000. So if we're to think that somehow our house has appraised at the same value as these houses, we're still would be significantly under these levels. And that house at the current appraised value of 644 is about 14,000 under what the KRT is telling you should be considered the appraised value for us. However, that one, again, KRT didn't get into, but they do note an AC mini split, which would indicate that the heating and cooling system has been updated since the last appraisal process. That's not the case with ours. We have no central air, and our heating system is the original from the house being built. Next is 31 Hawk Pine. There again, it's a mini split, which would show updates. There's an in-law apartment that's noted in the basement. That one is also about 9.86% higher than us in the prior appraisal process. Lastly, there are 2 more properties, one at 900 Union Village Road. This was 35.5% higher than ours in the last appraisal. But this one, KRT did actually get into and noted new hardwood floors in part of the house and bathroom updates upstairs. Other than paint on part of one of our bathrooms and our dogs doing delightful damage to our hardwood floors, we've not had any comparable upgrades. Lastly is a Wiley Hill Road property, which has a prior appraisal, which was 49.3% higher than our house back in 2016. That also shows an in-law apartment. None of these have sales so that we would know whether or not these are accurate. Comps. The one we think is the best comp for our house is the Hobson Road, 324 Hobson Road address that we've listed throughout and explained throughout. It sold for $1,000 more than our house a few months before our house did. that, it has a similar amount of acreage, similar size. The town, the listers in KRT would say it's not a comp because despite being a similar age and size, it's a ranch as opposed to a colonial. But aside from that, the acreage, the condition are both grade C. It makes for a very good comp, and there's no rational explanation why that would be $216,000 lower than the current appraisal status than ours. In the last portion of the hearing, the town, one of the listers mentioned that we received a benefit in the last appraisal process in having the appraisal lowered from, I think initially around 410, 415 to the actual sales price. That's Vermont state law. It's been supported by Vermont Supreme Court, that if there is a recent sales price at arm's length, that's to be reflected in the appraisal. That happened with us. We did not somehow get a benefit. We were appraised at the then shown market value. The two of our other comps were also rejected as being commercial properties. The listers, I think, one in particular made a point, when the grand list was filed, that the listers don't set the taxes, they set the valuation. So saying that these are not comparable for a evaluation process is inaccurate. It would potentially could be treated differently under taxes, but the valuation would be different. And I wouldn't know one to two properties has a resident listed on the voter rolls. We do think it would qualify as resident. So we do feel that we've shown that the comps that we've put forward are appropriate. The Hobson Road is very similar, and we feel that a further adjustment downwards to an area near Hobson Road valuation 422 would be the appropriate outcome.
Thank you.
And can I clarify?
Yep.
Hobson Road was built in 1965 and yours was built in 1997?
Yep, it has
So-
done upgrades to the roof and heating system in the meantime.
What I got from looking at your property cards for Hobson Road and for yours was an adjusted square footage value of 191 and change for Hobson Road and 194 and change for your house. Any difference then, from what I could look at reading the lister card, was due to the depreciation differences, and depreciation, as far as I can tell, having generated a very large Excel spreadsheet based on all of your comps today, is primarily due to the age of the house. So 1965 gets a 55% depreciation value, and your house gets a 19% depreciation value, which was also applied to a 1987 house. So in terms of differences between your house value and the Hobson Road value, I mean, it seems pretty clear to me that this is age-related depreciation.
Which I would say shows one of the many flaws with the KRT system, that makes it very arbitrary, in that they, look at the depreciation based on assigning a grade and then making the adjustments based, for the depreciation based primarily on the age of the house. So it doesn't really take a strong look at the condition of the house other than initial grading. So somebody that has done updates, for instance, with that house to the roof and the heating system, which is shown by the AC mini split being there, would show that the depreciation for that house probably is not as is probably overdone in their system and under ours. They have depreciation would be something where we're looking at the structure and how it's been affected over time. That Hobson Road, because they've made upgrades, they've lessened the degrading of their property. We haven't been able to do that, so we're currently at 30 years at the boiler, the roof, the water system, the pump.
We have no place on our card to alter the age of your boiler, your water system, or your pump. So I guess I'm a little like, having spent a lot of time reading through packets today. And I guess you have a whole laundry list of things that are wrong with your house. But I'm unclear on how we can resolve those based on things that we can resolve as the Board of Civil Authority that are on a property assessment card.
I would know there is a residence on Tiger Town where they made a special adjustment outside of the depreciation figure for the, interior condition of the residence.
But that's already on here, like that's already been evaluated.
Right, but that is something that was beyond the depreciation, that could be added into there to reflect things. What's really lacking in terms of the condition of the location, is any adjustment outside. And the listers have said that, well, there's a topographical adjustment for the primary 1 acre, and then the other adjustment, and this is similar to other properties in the neighborhood. Our neighbors, however, have a relatively or comparatively flat property that's open with a gradual driveway. The thing that's really noticeable there, however, if you look at the other figures besides that topo adjustment, is we have the initial unit price that I think everybody starts at 140. There's then an adjustment upwards of 1.26. And then a further neighborhood adjustment of 1.4. The 1.4 of note is a greater neighborhood adjustment than in-town locations such as Hobson and the I believe even the mid-century modern historic district, I think doesn't even get a 1.4. That 1.26 adjustment, I don't know what that is for. But in comparison, then we have this meager 10% adjustment downwards, which is more than offset by these other factors artificially driving the valuation of the land higher.
I can go again. Yeah.
No.
Thank you. Listers.
I would just like to explain where the 1.26 comes from. It's 1.4 minus 10%. So it's 1.4 minus 0.1. 0.14 comes out to 1.26. So that's basic math.
The 10%
The
of the topo
1.4
adjustment.
is the neighborhood influence that's given for all of the properties along that stretch of Beaver Meadow Road, which is rated rural good. So all of the properties are rated the same in terms of that influence.
And then the topographical adjustment of -10 brings that adjustment to 1.26, and so on down, and the 0.20 brings it down to 1.12.
The other thing I'd like to mention is the reference to 324 Hobson Road getting a new roof. Unless there was a change from, say, an asphalt roof to a metal roof, there would be no change in the assessment for the roof being replaced. Every house needs a roof. If they go from asphalt to asphalt or metal to metal, there is absolutely zero change in the assessment.
Right. The other point that I'd like to make again, when we state that something isn't a comp, the fact that there wasn't an interior inspection means exactly that the interior has not been verified and therefore could have a lower assessment and really should have a higher assessment. So it's difficult to want to take a home that has not had an interior inspection and use it as a comp when it hasn't been verified. And we've heard from many neighbors that, they know their neighbor has done work and it's not been interior verified and we can't make a change. And it wasn't the listers doing the reappraisal, it was KRT, and they had their methodology for doing these interior inspections. When we lodged with reservations, we were disappointed at the amount of inspections that they didn't do, interior inspections. However, all of us are suffering from that, not one individual property, but all of us suffer from that. And I just want to be clear on that. The last comment that I would make is that this property, after grievance and in informal, has already received a 20% reduction in the assessment from the start 822,700, now down to 658,000. So there's already been a 20% reduction in the assessment.
Which still leaves us with an increase of roughly 80–90% over the prior appraisal. Which is more like the town average.
Okay. Kristen, you with us?
I am,
Kristen,
yeah,
would you like to, make a motion to accept the inspection report?
yes.
Second, anyone?
Yes.
Suzanne seconds. Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
And would you like to say yes, Kristen?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you.
And
We
my
are,
wife was sick and couldn't be here, so she did ask me to turn it.
Okay. We are closing this hearing at 5:53. We will get a decision to you within 15 days. Thank you. Okay.